Hey Tony, it's Friday, and first off, to answer your question of the week, I haven't played either, but I thought the Princess of the Apocalypse sounded pretty cool, so you should go with that one. And now for the real important part, I shaved, as you can tell. It's my first time I've been clean shaven in probably a month, give or take, so it takes some getting used to. I was just getting a little annoyed with the beard. But now on to the actual bit of today's video. So, not a lot happened this week, honestly. It wasn't as draining as last week. It wasn't as fun as a couple weeks before. It just was kind of a week. Which, I guess in its own way, is just a part of getting older. In which things aren't great, things aren't awesome, things are just kind of things at this point. But I had some interesting court stories for this week, so I know you don't really care about those, but it's my life, so deal with it. But so let's start with Monday. Now on Monday I did my usual hours at the CLA office like I usually do. I won't be this Monday because schedules this week are all sorts of screwy. Thanks, Taylor.
I'm sorry, I took on training and you can deal with it.
But
You're the one that chose weird school times.
they're the only times those classes were available.
It's still your issue. You can't blame this all on me.
It's all your fault. You're responsible. You're the one to blame. It's your fault.
Whatever you say.
I was into the woods, Tony. Don't you know? I don't know if you ever actually saw that play because I didn't act in it, but I was on crew and I loved it. It's probably one of my favorite plays ever. But that's not even related to what I was talking about before. But so my Monday was my usual Monday. I went to the CLA office in the morning, had a couple clients I worked with. Actually ended up going to a really nice lunch. So every second or third Monday of each month, the CLA does what's called their mentorship lunch. And that was this Monday. And it was really enjoyable. Learned a lot. You get to talk to a lot of attorneys who have been doing housing for their entire career. So it's a really good place to learn, really good place to network. But so that happened that day, and then as soon as that was over, I ended up being able to go off and go onto campus. When I took a practice bar exam, which I'm going to be grading myself today, and I'm not looking forward to it. I don't think it went well, and I guess if it's any consolation, every single person I've talked to has failed it so far. So I've talked to 20 people who've taken it, and they've all failed. So I guess if I do fail, I'm in good company. Yeah. But there was that. On Tuesday, I spent all day on campus. I got there at noon, and I was there till 10 p.m. That was a really long day. I just kind of went home and just sat and watched TV and just relaxed, which was kind of nice because it's not something I usually do, just relax. So that was kind of nice. Wednesday, nothing. Wednesday, I actually ended up going to visit the federal courthouse, which was interesting. So one of my professors is a federal judge, which is really big. And he's he's jokingly, the pride and joy of Western New England, because he ended up so far up on the bench. So we sat there and actually watched appeals from the 7th District, which covers Illinois, Wisconsin, and a couple of the states in that area, which is weird. The reason why that took place in Massachusetts is because one of the judges, who was very, very, very funny, she was a riot. She lived in Chicago for the majority of her life until, unfortunately, her husband passed away. And she ended up, she'd come out to New England periodically for different meetings here and there. And she met a man who lived just outside of Springfield in a really nice city called Longmeadow. And they fell in love, got married, and so what she used to do is she used to commute every single time there was going to be a case. But what she's done since, which shows just how crazy technology is she Skypes. In essence, she Skypes the judges in the courtroom. It's a visual call, and it was the coolest thing, because these were judges who were in Chicago, Actually, one of them was on Trump's shortlist for the Supreme Court, which is really cool. She was feisty and really great to learn from. I might have disagreements with President Trump and some of his choices for the Supreme Court, but she was feisty and she was just so intelligent. But that's not the judge that we sat and talked to. But it was really kind of cool just to see just how far technology has gone, in which you can have a judge in Western Massachusetts teleconference with judges in Illinois dealing with a case from Wisconsin about cheese. The case was about cheese, of course, because it's Wisconsin. What wouldn't it be about? But so that was kind of a neat experience, and just seeing appellate arguments. Now, most of what I do is on the trial level, so it's not nearly as intense. Well, rather, it's more the moot. Like if you're doing appellate moot court, or sorry, if you're just doing appellate court, then it's very basically you go up there and have an oral argument. You don't have witnesses. You don't have anything like that. You just argue the facts of what has already happened before. And so it's something completely different than what I usually do, because what I do, I have witnesses. It's all trial stuff. Whereas at the appellate level, it's all, it's not trial, it's oral arguments. But it was really kind of interesting to see attorneys who this is their job do this. So that was kind of neat. Then yesterday was my usual day in court, and I actually felt really good yesterday. So there's a client I've been helping for about a month, and his case finally was set for trial yesterday. What ended up happening is I ended up just meeting up with the landlord's attorney, and we sat there, and I came in with well-reasoned facts, basically saying, listen, this case is going to get dismissed if we don't agree here. And he actually accepted my first offer, which never happens, so I was pretty happy on that one. He was a really, really nice guy. He actually does some volunteer work for Community Legal Aid, so my supervisor knew him very well. But that was kind of nice. And then today was just a normal day of working with more clients. I actually had a bit of a difficult case this afternoon, in which it was a woman who is suffering from dementia, who was being evicted for for losing control of herself. She was 94 with dementia. It made it a little bit difficult, but she was very pleasant. We were able to get everything together, and it worked out very well. And then there was one more piece of really awesome news that actually took place last night. So as you know, Tony, and our 3 viewers, I'm a pretty big Indians fan. The Cleveland Indians is my favorite team, and they made history last night. They became the first team in modern baseball. They have the longest win streak in modern baseball with 22 wins straight, which is crazy. They surpassed the Chicago Cubs record from 1935. Think about that for a moment. We're talking 82 years that record has stood, and the Indians broke it last night. And there's some debate as to whether or not they have the full record, because the record technically was set by the Giants, who were at that point, they were in San Francisco, they were in New York. I think they might have been in New York, they might have been somewhere else, but it was the Giants. And they ended up winning 26 straight in 1916. The issue being, though, there was a tie in there. So they went 26 straight games without losing, but there was a tie. So there's some debate as to who actually has the longest win streak. But the Major League Baseball came out and said the longest win streak in modern baseball was the Cleveland Indians. So Tony, I'm going to ask you, I know you don't care about sports, but have you ever, trying to think of a good question. How about this one? I know you're not a baseball fan, but do you remember the last Indians game that you and I went to when we were kids? Tony, I'll see you on Tuesday. Later, bro.